1, 2.
Wow. Welcome to Power, June 28, 2023. Our Power session is live on the air right now. If you could take a moment to go online, www.brightstarcommunityoutreach.com. Like and share our program. Like and share our program. Thank you. Put your phones on silent. Don't forget to do that. How was the food today? What y'all have? Fried chicken and what else was out there? Macaroni. Palmer, you made macaroni? Was the mac and cheese good, y'all? Well, let's clap it up for Palmer. She didn't have to do that. Now, she didn't have to do that, y'all. She did not have to do that. Thank you, Palmer, for always coming through for the team. Always taking one for the team. All right, if you have not eaten, we're going to pause that part. You can go back over there after our programming is over. Well, we are done. And for now, eating, okay? All right, did everybody get something to eat that wanted something? Good. You can get your seconds at 2. Woo. Guess what? I got some gift cards to give away today. Who wants to get some money up in here today? Who came to play Power Bingo with us? Y'all don't sound like y'all want to win. Who got the winning bingo card? Let me see it. Who got the winning one? I don't believe. Who got the winning card, I said? Okay, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see for sure. Welcome to Power. Power, presenting opportunities where everyone rises. Presenting opportunities where everyone rises. It's one thing for you to rise. If I'm still down, there's still work to do, right? We present opportunities where everyone, what? Put your hands together for that. We good to go? We good to go? All right. Thank you so much for being here. We missed you guys. We were so glad to have you in the building today. And we have some interesting, some impactful and enlightening information to share with you today. So thank you for being here with us. We're going to ask everybody to settle down so that we can start our programming. We're going to start our bingo. Where's Destiny at? We're going to open up with bingo. How about that? Who wants to make some money today, I said? I got a $50 gift card for somebody. Somebody's about to get $50. Let's put our hands together for Destiny. Come on, Destiny. Say hi to the people.
Hello, 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 hello. Hey, y'all, hey, y'all, hey, y'all. Y'all ready to win? All right, okay. Oh, you gonna win? Oh, I done dropped all of them, y'all. Not you can't be doing that. Oh, not I'm cheating. That's crazy.
We don't cheat. Come on, clap it up for her right now. Is that all of them?
That's all of them. That's
all right, let's go. Let's hop it up.
All right, all right, all right.
Give us some winning music.
So, y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right. Let me pull the first one. Graceful. Graceful. Go ahead and find that. Graceful. Next one, next one. Comfortable. I hope y'all comfortable. Y'all comfortable? All right. Only when you win.
I like that.
All right, next one. Hospice care. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
Hospice care.
Y'all got that? All right, all right, all right. Next one, dreams. Always shoot for y'all dreams, y'all. Next one. Y'all
Destiny,
ready?
I don't think they came to make. They didn't want to win them. They don't want this money.
They ain't happy enough for me.
Uh-uh.
Y'all ain't happy enough.
Who got the hypest table in the room? Let me hear you.
Come on,
Who got the
come on.
hypest table? Come on, let me hear you.
Oh!
All right, don't let it die down now. Go ahead.
Next one, palliative care. Palliative care. All right. Ain't nobody got power yet? Ain't nobody got power? Come on, I mean, come on.
Somebody say, come on, Destiny. Ho, ho, ho. You got bingo?
You got power? Oh, you gotta scream it. I gotta hear you screaming.
Hold that.
Let's go check it. All right, somebody got power, y'all.
Scoot in, bro. Scoot in, bro. Scoot in. Thank you.
The last
We're going to see. We about to see right now.
We're about to see. Deliberate.
Here you go. All right. Put that basket down. We got another opportunity. Don't worry. It's another gift card for $50 for somebody. If she won, and if she did win, what are we going to do? Let's practice. Let's practice. So if she won, hold on. She hollered it out first, sir. She hollered it out. So if she won, she won. Y'all having a good time?
She won.
She won. Come on, let's celebrate.
Let's clap it up. Clap it up.
Let's celebrate.
Clap it up. Gift card, gift card.
We're going to have your gift card for you. Come on,
All
clap
right.
your hands one more time. One more, we got one more game real quick. Who's the oldest one in the room?
Ooh.
Who's the oldest one in the room? Raise your hand. The oldest one in the room. Let me see you. How old are you? 72. Anybody older than 72? How old are you? 81. Can anybody beat 81?
Woo.
88 right here. Can anybody beat 88?
Amen.
Let's put our hands together for our elders. Miss Helen, you won $25. Come on, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. That's how we do it. One more. 25. Oh, no, 50 for the bingo, 25 for Miss Helen. 50 and 25. Who came the furthest? What's your zip code? Who came the furthest? What's your zip code? What is it? 60411. What city is that? Chicago Heights. Chicago Heights. Okay. You're from Tennessee? Oh, you won. Can't nobody beat Hold on. North Carolina? Who's from North Carolina? Do you work here? Tennessee, you just won $25. Hold on. Salt Lake City, you won, ma'am. Clap your hands for Salt Lake City in the corner over there, Charlene. All the way in the corner. Let's celebrate. The oldest right here, Miss Helen, with the red shirt. All right, let's clap it up and celebrate. Now, unless we forget why we're here, we are here to give you information about our community and the services we offer. So let's listen to this short video, and we'll be back.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought social and racial injustice and inequity to the forefront of public health. As a matter of fact, in response to the pandemic, P.O.W.E.R established a functioning health department focused on social determinants of health. As we know, health equity is still not a reality, and as a result, COVID-19 continues to disproportionately affect Black and brown communities, putting them at more risk of getting sick and worse, dying. Residents may not trust their doctors, but they sure do trust their faith leaders. Therefore, Pastor Chris Harris partnered with Northwestern Medicine to create a health show called Clergy and Clinicians. As a trusted voice in the community, PCH, African American, and Latinx medical professionals have come together to address concerns in communities of color. With episode reaching over 100,000 views, residents are educated on issues such as COVID-19, heart disease, organ transplant, and mental health, as well as many other health disparity-related topics. BSCO and its collaborative partners have been committed to bringing free vaccines to our community, studying long-term effects of COVID-19, and helping to close Chicago's life expectancy gap. We have disseminated information that educated our residents while sharing facts and breaking down stigmas about the virus, variants, and vaccines. We were also able to provide free vaccinations to our residents, which helped keep them safe and alive. At the same time, it created a safe space for residents to come in and participate in peer support groups. These groups became a long-awaited beacon of light, where residents found hope and created a sense of community as they voiced their challenges, difficulties, and mental health frustrations during and post-COVID-19. With 15 community events, these specific efforts have resulted in a collaborative that achieved over 15,000 vaccines to the residents on the south side of Chicago, and 250 residents participating in a nationwide long COVID study that will help shape the way COVID effects are treated in underserved Black and Brown communities and generate up to $800 more to their household income. Our team of individuals brave the streets of Greater Brownsville daily in hand-to-hand marketing, gathering data through surveys, ensuring the voice of our community is reflected while we produce new health-focused programming. Doing things with the community and not to the community is the principle of our work. Very few community-based organizations can say that they have the privilege of partnering with globally respected medical institutions like Northwestern Medicine, UChicago Medicine, and now St. Bernard Hospital, providing mental health services to their staff. At BSCO, the health of our community is one of our highest priorities.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to P.O.W.E.R, presenting opportunities where everyone rises. Can you put your hands together for our guest today? This is our Northwestern Medicine team. Can we clap for our Northwestern medical team? We know them. They're like family to us. I'm going to introduce from my left to my right, let's start with Edward. Edward P.O.W.E.R. Did I say it right? Peñate. I got to put the little on it. Edward P.O.W.E.R. is a native of Chicagoan, pastored in Chicago for 15 years before transitioning into his current role as a palliative care chaplain at Northwestern Medicine. He is bilingual, multicultural, Spanish-English speaking, offering him a unique opportunity to work with Spanish-speaking patients and their families. He is married and has 2 teenage children. Let's put our hands together for Edward. Thank you for being here, Edward. Then we have Joshua, who we know. Put your hands together for Josh. Wow, you got a fan club, Joshua. Josh Hauser is a palliative care physician at Northwestern and the Jesse Brown VA. He is a resident of Evanston and father of 2 college-aged children. Put your hands together for Josh again. Hirsch, you got to help me. Hirsch Patel Hernandez. Okay, I got it. Is a palliative care social worker at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. She's a resident of Pilsen, living with husband and 2 cats. Put your hands together for Hirsch. We're about to learn some good stuff. And then Julie, last but not least.
This is Joan. Julie's not here.
Okay, Joan. Joan McGrath is a palliative care nurse at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, lives with husband and 2 dogs, and mom of 3 college kids. Northwestern, everybody, come on. Let's welcome them real good. I want you to know you're like family to us, and we really appreciate you taking your time to be here in our community so that we can go further, dig deeper into palliative care. We have done a lot of work in this area, and I believe our community is being made more aware of what it means and what it doesn't mean. So we're here today just to open it up a little bit more. All right, who wants to start? I'm going to ask a question, and I just want to know, Josh, give us a little something. Give us a little something while I look. Go ahead.
I just want to thank everybody for being here. And I just want to give a shout out to Joni. I want to give a shout out to Joni's shirt. Joni, do you want to say what your shirt says?
My shirt says, nah. This is what Rosa Parks said when she refused to go to the back of the bus. Use your voice, people. Use your voice.
So I want to thank Joni for hosting us, and thank the team at BrightStar. As Joni mentioned, we've been working with BrightStar for more than a year now. Northwestern Medicine has been working with BrightStar for I think about 10 years, and it's been personally a treat for all four of us, but all of us in palliative care at Northwestern, to get to do this work and to really learn from all of you. So we're grateful for that.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you. What is part of a palliative care mean? What does that mean? Team mean? What does that mean?
Yeah. So Joni just asked me, what does a palliative care team mean? And I'll start with, what does palliative care mean? Palliative care is care for patients and their families with serious illness that focuses on symptom control, relief of pain and other symptoms, support for their families, and help with hard decisions. And palliative care happens alongside all sorts of other medical care, whether it's cardiology care, heart care, oncology care, cancer care, any kind of regular medical care. We can also be a part of that care. It's not like an on-off switch. So at Northwestern Medicine, and actually at the Jesse Brown VA, where I also work, that's the type of medicine that the three of us do on this stage. And the focus that we wanted to have today, as Joni's alluding to, is about teamwork. Because we believe, and this lesson won't be lost on this audience, we believe that we do better when we all work together.
Yeah, that's right.
So one of the gifts of getting to work in palliative care for me, and I'm a physician, as Joni mentioned, is getting to work alongside colleagues and friends in this work. So on this panel, for example, we have a nurse and a social worker and a chaplain.
Wow.
And I'm a physician, and we all try to get along, and we actually do get along, it turns out. And the advantage, and we'll all keep talking about this as these next minutes roll out, the advantage of working as a team when you take care of a patient, and when you take care of a patient and his or her family, is you get to see things that you might not otherwise see. Yeah. So there's something that Joan McGrath sees that I totally missed because I didn't have my glasses on. I mean that literally or figuratively. There's something that Edward sees as a chaplain about a patient's spiritual life that I care deeply about, but I totally missed because I didn't have my glasses on. And there's something about a patient's social situation at home that a social worker like Hirsch might notice better than me because I totally missed it. So each of us can sort of tell those same stories, but the point is that when you bring to bear a team, and this is an example of a team, 4 of us, but there are lots of other teams we can think about. And I understand the behavioral health team is in the back there.
Yeah.
There are teams in behavioral health. When you have more eyes and more heads in the game, there's more you get to see and more you get to do and more ways you can help people. So thank you for the question, Joni.
I like that. So that's the interdisciplinary side of it, that you handle one aspect and your team handles other aspects of it. So Hirsch, as a social worker, what types of things have you seen as it relates to palliative care and families who are just getting into finding out all about it?
Yeah, great question. I think a lot of what I tend to see is a lot of emotional struggle. One can be, maybe it's a new diagnosis, and how do I emotionally manage that? How do I come to terms with it? Where do I go from here? Some of the other things I see is how do I navigate this very complex system, our healthcare system? And a lot of support for families. One thing we've realized is it doesn't just affect patients, it affects their entire support system. Yeah. And so that's where I really can come into handy and be helpful and, sitting down with each and every person and saying, how can I be helpful, or what do you need, or hey, just vent or cry, release whatever you need to do. And I hate, my role isn't very black and white, and that's what I love the most, is because not everybody's black and white.
That's right. Absolutely. I love that. So when you're talking about social work, and you're talking about people coming into the system new and not sure what's going on, Edward, how do you also handle people who may be struggling with this new diagnosis, for example, or they may need some help? How do you help? What do you do?
Yeah, and I'm going to take a step back. Okay. And what I mean by a step back is to connect it with what Hirsch and Josh highlighted about not just the chaplain coming in to introduce themselves as an individual to another human being, another person for the very first time, but taking a step back that when I'm being introduced, I'm doing it in a setting of these fabulous clinicians too. And what I mean by that is this. When they invite Edward, they give permission to Edward to enter the patient room, to patient space, to have this conversation. It's an introduction of a glimpse into this whole team that comes along with Edward or with Hirsch or with Joan or with Josh or any other clinician, right? But to answer to your question about, so you have a chaplain that specializes in the area of palliative medicine with these fabulous colleagues here. He's like, what is it that you do in this setting, right? And one of the things that I like to point out is that we are human beings. Human beings with histories and backgrounds that are beautiful.
That's right.
Right? With embedded beliefs and values, the beauty of history of 40 years, 50 years, 10 years, 15 years, and we have to understand that from a human being, right? And so when we're being introduced, and in this specific moment of their history as a human being, we're being introduced in a very delicate moment, right? When they have probably, for example, received some very weighty news, right? And weighty here, weighty here.
Yeah.
And that can be a disorienting experience. And what I mean by disorienting, it can shake someone's lenses to the core in so many different ways. And that takes time to understand how much a human being is impacted by certain information or experiences, right? Of how the body changes, of how the mind is interpreting, what Hirsch was so well mentioning, how it impacts us emotionally. I mean, we're human beings on various different aspects, and we're coming here privileged to introduce ourselves to another human being to try to understand how can we best be of service to you at this very delicate moment.
That's awesome.
So when you talk about the role of spiritual care into this human accompaniment, I like to point out we are very spiritual human beings, right? And we have to factor that in. And that beauty of spirituality is influencing, is part of our identity, is part of our life in so many ways. The way we interpret things, the way we are coping, the way we are making decisions. So there is a lot going on. I hope I'm making sense here.
It does. Come on, let's put our hands together for Edward. And I don't know if you can feel the love, but it's radiating out of this team. Put your hands together for Northwestern as we talk to Joan. Joan, what are some disadvantages to an interdisciplinary approach, and how do you manage that? Why are you looking at me like that, Joan?
To be honest, I don't see that many disadvantages, but I truly don't. I have been a nurse for almost 30 years.
Wow, come on, 30 years?
Yep. I began when I was 10. I started as a nurse when I was 10. I'm just kidding. No, but I have been fortunate to be part of Northwestern for 30 years. Started as a new nurse on the floor, and then a clinical coordinator in charge. And then I was, in my last 10 years at Northwestern, connected with palliative care. And the team approach, to be honest, in my opinion, does not have too many disadvantages, other than if it is a team that doesn't connect well with each other, that a team that does not have respect for each other, or that cannot work well together. And I have never felt that with my colleagues and my team. I've been blessed. And I just want to add on, I mean, I agree with everything that has been said, but one thing that struck me, especially when Edward said, when we're called to meet people or we get a referral to try and help people with palliative care, we are called in at usually one of the hardest times of people's lives, not only just the patients, but their families with what they're going through, with whatever serious illness it is. And we are privileged to do our best to try and understand how we can help you have the best quality of life and to help guide you. And we work alongside oncologists and cardiologists, like Josh was saying, to do our best to help you with what you're going through. We don't want to ever add stress or burden to be an extra team that you have to see, but we always want you to know that we're there if you need us. There are times when we meet people and they are just diagnosed with a really serious cancer, and they meet us and they know we're there for them and we help them with acute symptoms, and then sometimes they don't need us for a long time, and that's fine, that's okay. But a lot of times we'll meet people and they'll say, why didn't we meet you earlier with my diagnosis? Wow. And we say, I'm not sure, but we're here for you now.
I love that. I love that. Put your hands together. So you're telling me as soon as we get a diagnosis that would shake us or rattle our lenses, as you said, Edward, we should start looking for care. If it's, tell me how soon we can ask. How soon, if I just get a bad or a doctor's report, my aunt, for example, or whomever, and I need help. How soon can I ask for it?
That's a really great question. And I want to say, I'll begin the response. And what I mean by response is I know that these very experienced clinicians can offer insight into this as well. I would say this, that, for example, if you are being introduced at the time of, and I'm just saying this as a point of reference of when you receive news of a life-limiting illness, a serious illness diagnosis, right? It may be that at that time, you're not manifesting any or reporting any symptoms. So, for example, pain, bodily pain, right? Perhaps you're not facing any other, for example, and Joan can elaborate on nursing needs, right? But perhaps the main area that needs to be understood more and responded to in the appropriate way is an emotional aspect of it, right? And so, for example, saying shaken to the core, just being delivered some very weighty information, news about your existence, about your body, right? And that it's rattling the emotions. And perhaps at this given moment, the primary involvement for a palliative care service is to introduce social work, the palliative care social work, right? Okay. And that can be the beginning. It doesn't mean that you can't involve other team members, but maybe at this moment it requires this person. Another example, what if, and I will say this because I'm a person of faith, but as human beings in this human experience, there's moments where like, I ask, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is, as I am listening to that comment, that is a religious, spiritual indicator of something that we need to understand more about this human experience.
And let me stop you right there. Yeah. You're not the only one who has asked that question. Anybody else asked that question? Why is this happening to me? You're not alone. I just wanted you to see that there are other people that asked that question.
Thank you for aligning with me. It's very humane.
Yeah.
But I name it. I talk about it very explicitly because that happens to many different people.
Yeah.
Right? I want to say to all of us at some given point.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe, and I'll stop here because I'm a preacher by background, and so I tend to hold this mic differently.
Feels good, don't it?
But at this moment probably is the involvement of the palliative care chaplain at this moment, right? And that is never earlier, is what is right for you. What is right for you at a given point. Right. And I'll stop there.
I like it. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
No, just to this on? There we go. Just to amplify what Edward said, I think the important thing about palliative care, and quite frankly, the important thing about all of medicine, is to sort of figure out where people are in their understanding, in their coping, in how they're dealing with any kind of illness, and then bring to bear the resources and the team members that we have. Yeah. So, well, maybe there's a nursing need, and maybe there's a social work need, and maybe there's a chaplaincy need, and maybe there's a doctor need, and even that is pretty simplistic, right? Because hopefully I, as a doctor, have some appreciation of the spirituality of a patient, and I know Joan, as a nurse, has appreciation of the social situation of a patient. So all of us have, I think, a lot of flexibility. And so the reality is that there are patients who are newly diagnosed with, as Edward said, a serious illness, maybe metastatic or cancer that's spread to other parts of the body, that get palliative care pretty soon after their diagnosis, along with their cancer care. Mm-hmm. There are patients with pretty serious heart failure. And I saw in the video Clyde Yancey, who's one of our heart failure doctors at Northwestern Medicine, has been on with Pastor Harris. And so we see a lot of patients alongside Dr. Yancey in the hospital. And palliative care, again, there are patients that we see. I want to be very explicit about this. There are patients we see, and the four of us, most likely not Joan. Joan is a little more flexible than the rest of us, but mostly see patients in the hospital. Joan sees outpatients and inpatients. But I will be very clear with everybody. There are patients we see in palliative care who have a life expectancy of years, and there are patients we see in palliative care who have a life expectancy that's much, much shorter than that. And we are agnostic. We're neutral as to who they are. We just want to see people who need help and for whom we can help. I just want to make one other comment, and I can't remember if this is a question or not, but just something that occurred to me as Edward was talking. I think it's really important. You're meeting 4 different team members here. And I like to think even more broadly than us 4 team members. And I like to think of the food service person who walks in the room of a patient. And I like to think of the nurse's aide who's taking care of the patient.
That's
and I like to think of the security in the hospital who might help someone, and the transport person. And all these people come to bear on a patient's experience. And I had a very moving case many years ago where a woman whom we were taking care of wanted to end her life early. She wanted hastened death, it's called, which is a sign of really deep suffering. Anytime someone wants to die, that's a sign of suffering. Whether one agrees with that instinct or not, that's a sign of suffering. And we as a palliative care team, I think this is before the time of all 4 of these members, we as a palliative care team, we brought all these great team members. And none of us made a difference. None of us. And I asked her, after this feeling of wanting to die waned, I said, well, who helped you? Who helped you? Was it the doctor? No. Was it the nurse? No. Social worker? No. Chaplain? You crazy? That's what she said. Literally, I actually have it on video. And for those of you in the audience who are a little older, you can remember we used to have these things called videotapes. Yeah. Okay, I have it on videotape. That's how old it is. And so I asked her, who helped you? Come on, all these great people. And she said, the sitter. The sitter.
Wow.
Now, what's a sitter? A sitter is someone who sits with someone. A sitter is someone who sits with someone in the hospital who might be suicidal, who might want to harm themselves, who might want to harm someone else, and sits with them and with them. And I said, what? The sitter. I said, how did the sitter help you? And she said, she sat with me, she read to me, she listened to me, she distracted me. Wow. Whoa. And so that's always been sort of a lesson, and you can hear in the tone of my voice about sort of it really comes back to me when I talk about it. That's always been a lesson for me in how we really need to be prepared to help people in ways that we might not expect to. And again, I love my colleagues, and I mean that sincerely. And I love the expertise that we have in this room, and I'm proud of that on behalf of all my colleagues and everybody in palliative care. But sometimes that's not what you need. Sometimes you got to be really broad and think about those other people.
Wow, now I really appreciate that. Come on, let's put our hands together for Josh.
So you are a part of a bigger team. There's no small part to play because every part is important. So there is a part for each of us to play as we relate to other people. Just remember that, and we'll deal with people in a different way if we keep that in the front of our mind. All right, so the last question I want to ask, and I want to just kick it around the room. Is there a difference between receiving palliative care in the hospital, in the community, or anywhere else? Is there a difference between the levels? Or, I mean, I don't know, so I'm asking. Anybody can take it.
Sure. So as Josh said, I am part of our team, and I work in both settings, the inpatient and the outpatient setting. So we have a clinic where we actually see people that's on campus at Northwestern, where we try and, if we can, do a joint visit with their main team, whether that's oncology or cardiology. And we do not have a team, though, from Northwestern that can go to the homes. So a lot of people are kind of unclear on that. But there are community-based palliative teams which can come to the home. Generally, when you have a palliative care team come into your home, it is a nurse practitioner that basically comes about once a month. And sometimes we partner up with a home palliative team, especially for patients who are limited with their mobility, and it's hard for them to come see us in our clinic. We can do telemedicine visits, but ideally, it's better to see people in person when we can. As we know, I know telemedicine is handy and great, especially that's one good thing that came out of COVID. But it's always better to do hands-on care, do an assessment in person. But basically, there are teams that can go to the homes. Home palliative teams basically have a nurse practitioner plus a social worker. And then you can chime in too, yeah. So there are teams that go to homes, and then there are palliative care teams as an inpatient in the hospital or in our clinic where we partner up with the main teams for when patients need care. So we don't, just to kind of clarify too, we do not take over as a primary doctor or a primary team just because we do not have the bandwidth to do that. We're always partnering up with other physicians or specialties.
Thank you.
Just to add a little bit on the community home palliative program, it's really meant to be an extra layer of support, not meant to be intrusive at all, but can be a really good way for another provider to really get to know you and, make additional suggestions in your home setting or anything that they think would be helpful for you to be at home, to have a good quality of life at home as well. And one of the nice things is a lot of these community partners, they actually keep in contact with us, so they communicate with us. So it can just be good communication all around to just make sure you're feeling as good as you possibly can.
So I hope that this session and this time has cleared up some things in your mind, has leveled it for you. If you need the resource, please reach out. This is our team. This is our family. These are our partners. They are responsible for the food you ate today. They are our partners. Come on, put your hands together for our partners. And not only did they do that, but they brought great information to try to settle you a little bit, not to be afraid to find out more information about palliative care. Let's put our hands together for Northwestern Medicine, Josh, Edward, Hirsch, and Joan. Come on, give it up for them. Real good. All right, if you have any questions at all, they'll be over here for just a little bit. If you need their card or information, I'm sure they'll share that with you. Clap your hands one more time. Coming up next, our behavioral health department is coming up after this video.
According to a recent Accenture report, a skills gap exists as there's a disparity between supply and demand of skilled job seekers. BSCO facilitates and implements trainings and programs that reskill and upskill participants for potential job shifts in employment and connects them to sectors in high demand that will provide livable wages. In order to maintain a reasonable standard of living and be able to save money, our department works diligently to connect Greater Bronzeville job seekers to stable, well-paying employment. The United Way of Metropolitan Chicago selected BSCO as the lead agency for the Greater Bronzeville Neighborhood Network. Here's our goal: 5,000 residents ages 16 to 55 with jobs that contribute to household sustainability by 2027. Even in a pandemic, our network has placed 4,193 residents in household sustaining jobs. At this pace, we will nearly double our goal by 2027. Since 2019, we have provided financial literacy coaching, training, or a combination of both of the two for over 950 participants. In the first 4 months, participants saw an increase in their credit score of nearly 69 points, a decrease in their debt of $1,000, and an increase in their savings of $100. Our client base expressed a desire for tools to create a job, especially those who have been previously affected by the criminal justice system. BSCO curated a 12-week entrepreneurship training program, and in our inaugural cohort, produced 20 graduates with a viable business plan, and 70% of our participants established an LLC. One of our participants had a functional website with over $5,000 in revenue, and each participant received financial literacy guidance in areas like personal credit, business credit, and retail banking services for businesses. We're extremely proud of these future Black business owners. Chicago Public Schools tapped us to lead the Safe Passage program, covering 8 Bronzeville schools, ensuring 3,000 students can travel to and from school safely. And as a result of the success, City Hall gave us an opportunity to recruit, train, and deploy business corridor ambassadors, creating a visible and welcoming presence in our neighborhood commercial centers and business corridors for residents and visitors. We believe that creating a strategy to address workforce development is an important component of our work under the T&T CNC model. Businesses have the demand, our community has the supply, and BSCO is here to move our residents from community to opportunity. The Greater Bronzeville Community Action Plan is BSCO's strategic plan to address community violence and the resulting violence. Through partnerships with over 70 organizations, Bright Star Community Outreach convenes action tables to effect change in the Greater Bronzeville community and beyond. As a convener, we endeavor to identify, deliver, and evaluate high-quality programs for youth and families, ensure education equity for all schools in Bronzeville, increase the resilience of people affected by trauma and violence, provide employment and placement services for residents of Greater Bronzeville. Our areas of emphasis include, but are not limited to, housing, social determinants of health, workforce development, and education. The Community Action Plan was created by listening to the voice of the community and putting into actionable steps ways to collectively bring about change. By the end of this year, through this partnership, BSCO has been able to provide $624,000 in financial support to 10 organizations. During the first round of funding, BSCO awarded 7 organizations with $208,000 to provide services that supported parental leadership and engagement at the school level. The second round of funding provided 3 new and 5 re-granted organizations with $416,000 to support in-school programming that focused on mentorship and trauma-related wraparound services. As the convener and not the competitor, we are looking to the future with hope and the spirit of collaboration to make the greater Bronzeville community and beyond a more livable, vibrant, and thriving community.
Hey, Power, come on. Are y'all excited about being here today? Come on, I really want to hear y'all. I miss you. Miss you so much. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors real quick. The Joyce Foundation, Northwestern Medicine, the University of Chicago Medicine, the United Way Metro, and Bright Star Community Outreach are responsible for this today. Our palliative care team from Northwestern, did you enjoy them? Come on, clap it up for them. We really love them. Thank you for taking your time. They'll be around for a few minutes. If you have questions, they can answer those questions for you. Please use our resources. Please do that. Don't go home with questions in your mind. If you need to use the ladies' room, ladies, let me tell you this real quick. You're going to use the one in the back because this one is closed for the afternoon, okay? Let's play a game real quick. Want to do that? Play a game. Y'all looking at me. Y'all ready, huh? I got a riddle for you. Get your pen out. Oh, yeah. I have two of them. Number your paper 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Please do not yell out your answer because the person next to you is trying to win too, y'all. And these two games are worth $25 each. But I'm not going to make it easy for you now. You know me by now. Number 1. After a train crashed, every single person died who survived. Write it down. After the train crashed, every single person on the train died. Who survived? Give me some music. Write it down. I love it. I love to see y'all's faces when you don't know what I'm doing. Number 2, how many months of the year have 28 days? Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Hey. All right. When I call out the answers, the first one to stand with the right answer gets the $25 gift card. I need you to stand up. First question was this. After a train crashed, every single person died. Who survived? Woo! Hold on. Ho. And you were the first one to get up. It was couples. It was couples. Let's put our hands together. The riddle was, after the train crashed, every single person died. Who survived? Couples. Put your hands together right there. Go see Charlene. She has your $25 gift card. Woo! She said she'll come to you. Number 2, how many months? Got to ask the question. Sat down. We got behavioral health up here we trying to get to. Y'all behave yourselves. How many months of the year have 28 days? Pop up. I saw you first. What's the answer? She was the first one to pop up. All of them. You better believe it. All 12 of them. Clap it up. Clap it up for my sister right there. I'm glad we could put that smile on your face. Come on, let's celebrate. Just wasn't your week this week, that's all. There'll be other times. Thank you all for playing Power, presenting opportunities where everyone rises. We still have one more bingo to play, so we're going to move along. We have Bright Star Community Outreach, Behavioral Health Department in the house. Let's clap it up for our team. Come on. Y'all happy that they're here?
They have some new and exciting information to share with us. We just moved into our 68,000 square feet building right across the street. And I want to hear more about what's been going on. Let's clap it up one more time for our behavioral health department. Leading the conversation today is our own, I call him Bishop. How you doing, Bishop?
I'm doing wonderful, Miss Joni. Come on, let's give it up for the hostess with the mostest, Miss Joni Vaughn. Woo! Can't nobody do it like her. We're excited to be here. We are excited to be a part of the conversation. In particular, we are the ambassadors that work within the behavioral health department. And we're so excited, and I'll explain a little bit about what we do, and then we'll talk a little bit about mental wellness amongst our group. Is that all right? First of all, we want to thank God for our visionary, our CEO. Let's give a hand to Pastor Chris Harris. Without him, we would not be here. It was him who had the vision to start this Turn Center and to bring mental wellness to our community. And we know that our communities have been plagued for a long time with trauma and how to deal with that. And he said, man, this problem, I need to try to figure out how to attack it. How can I help my people overcome their experiences? And so he went and took a trip over to Natal, Israel, generated an email, and here we are 5 years later in our new 68,000 square foot building, able to provide services to our community. He decided I'll start with myself, then I'll start with my family, I'll start with my church, my city, my state, and now other states want to replicate what we're doing right here in Chicago. So another shout out to Pastor Chris Harris. I have with me part of my team. Let me just introduce each one of them. I have Pastor Marciano Austell. He's part of our team. He's one of our ambassadors. I have Miss Kayla Blue. Come on, let's give it up for her. Mr. Joey Kaput. Let's thank God for him. Miss Raven Irvin. Come on. And our new kid on the block, Brother Keyshawn. Come on, let's thank God for him. So here it is. I know, and I keep saying thank God. Let me get this disclaimer. I'm a pastor, and so sometimes I just say churchy stuff. But I'm not here to convert anybody. I'm not trying to get you to pray to my God. I'm not trying to get you baptized. It's just part of my lingo. So please don't be offended if I slip and say turn to your neighbor today, all right? All right, glory to God. Okay, so again, we want to generate this conversation about mental health. And again, just pay attention to some of the conversations, because I guarantee you there's going to be something that you can take away from the things that are shared on this stage. So I'm going to pitch our first question to Marciano. In your opinion, what are the major barriers to African American adults and youth receiving adequate mental health?
I thought they saved the best for last. But anyways, that's a good question. We worked at Aldrich, Kayla and I and a couple of us. We worked at Aldrich, and one of the biggest problems and barriers that we had was the stigmatism, and people feeling like they had to, like they were perfect or whatever. And so we were with, I remember we were with the sixth graders, and when we were with the sixth graders, everybody had to portray this act as if they were perfect and nobody had any issues. And so then when we got to the seventh graders, one of the issues that we had was we dealt with a lot of people dealing with suicide and cutting. And so I remember we talked about suicide one time, and one of the gentlemen, he got real quiet, and he's usually loud. He's usually, like me, he's usually loud. And he was real quiet, and so, I asked him, was he okay? And we stepped out of the classroom, and he said when he was in third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade, he dealt with cutting himself. And so he did not want to say that in the classroom, and so I thought about that. So many of us, we mask what we're going through. We mask some of the issues and some of the problems that we're dealing, because we feel like we live in these glass houses, and and we put curtains on our glass houses until the glass breaks, and then everybody see that what we're going through and what we're dealing with. And so one of the things that we deal with is the stigmatism. Another thing is the affordability. We feel like we can't afford it if we don't have good insurance. And because the third thing is because of the lack of resources, because we don't have the resources to realize that it doesn't take a whole lot of money to go get help. There are free resources. There is Bright Star Community Outreach that's here to give you resources, free resources, free of charge. We go into Aldridge, we're at St. Bernard Hospital. We're into a lot of various organizations where you don't have to pay to be a part and to get the help that you need. So those are the three things: stigmatism, affordability, and the lack of resources.
Thank you. So again, we're excited here at Bright Star. You don't have any excuses not to get the help that you need. The resources that we have are not just for the young people, but the resources is for everyone that is within this room right now. There's some cards that are in the back, and we got our helpline number, 833-TURN-123. Everybody say it with me, 833-TURN-123. It doesn't have to be anything major. If you're experiencing a bad day, your grandkids got on your nerves, and you need somebody to talk to, guess what? Call us up. The SCR car didn't pick you up in time. They ain't deliver your groceries in time. You couldn't get your insulin. Go ahead and call us, and you can talk to. Matter of fact, there are people waiting right now. They're right on the phones right now waiting for you to call. And if you're looking at it and you're watching via Facebook, via Instagram and YouTube, all those other social media aspects, we want you to know somebody is waiting for you to call at 833-TURN-123. If they need help, what's the number? 833-TURN-123. All right, we cooking with gas. Mr. Keyshawn, with the African American community, would consider to have advantages with respect to mental health, and how can these be maximized?
Well, from our perception in the African, American community, some of the things that we go through or people have experienced, growing up, they tend to not, know what the resources are. And to piggyback off of what my colleague said, Mr. Marciano, a lot of them just don't know that the resources are free and how to maximize. And one way to maximize is to spread the word, hosting events and coming together as a one nation to know that, hey, it's okay to speak up and say that I need help or is something going on with me. A lot of us will, say, well, if I speak up and I say something, they might think I'm different. But, it's a saying I always say, you can only be yourself. Everyone else in this world is taken. So, like Mr. Marciano said, with Bright Star Community Outreach, just, just going with the resources and taking them.
Come on, we're going to utilize the resource. Tell your neighbor, it's okay, not to be okay. Because you got the number, 833-TURN-123. And guess what? It's free of charge. Somebody shout free. Free. All right. Next, Miss Raven. Is there any way to balance trauma and the ability, what ability does it have to drive us toward action of apathy?
So in our sessions, we talk a lot about coping skills. And so I feel like your coping strategies can be an amazing way to turn your trauma, your negative trauma, into something positive. And when we think about coping, there are healthy coping strategies as well as unhealthy coping strategies. And being realistic, just being real and transparent, it can be so easy to just turn to unhealthy coping strategies. It can be easy to pick up the bottle. It can be easy to want to give up. But it takes work to put in those healthy coping skills, those healthy coping strategies, because coping is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for Kayla. So we have to be able to assess ourselves and have some sense of self-awareness in order to employ the healthy coping strategies that will work for us.
All right, come on, that's good. You got to have good coping skills. I want you to know that Coping skills don't necessarily always cost anything. Sometimes you can just pick up a book. Sometimes you can sew. You can thread something. You can cook. You can clean. You can paint. There are many things. Anybody else got some other things you can do for coping? What do you do for coping? Y'all must be stressed because you ain't got no coping skills. That's the problem. That's why you're so uptight and bitter. What you got? Gardening. Come on.
She said read the Bible.
What is it? Swimming.
Exercise.
Take a walk. That's right. Come on, we got all these things that are available. We know what to do, but sometimes we don't implement them. What else? Somebody else has something to say? Jogging, writing, journaling, walking, praying, if that's what you do. Chanting, if that's what you do. Burn incense, if that's what you do. Right. We want to hit them all.
Sage.
Sage, if that's what you do. Crystals, if that's what you do. I don't know. You know, that's what they doing now. You know, they doing this all kind of stuff. I ain't recruiting it. That ain't what I do. But whatever you do, that's what you do. Tell your neighbor what you do is what you do. All right? All right. All right, here it is. Miss Kayla.
Oh, Kayla. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Kayla is my accountability. This is my chief right here. She keep me on track, right? I told her I was going to pick on her today. As a black woman, how can the black community better support the emotional health of black women?
So we can start as a community letting go of the stereotype mad black woman. That mad black woman stereotype, it does nothing to support black women emotionally at all. If anything, it just puts them down even more. It makes them uncomfortable, and it does not provide a safe space. Also, we need to extend the same grace that we extend to other people. We need to consider that black women deal with more than the average American on a daily basis. So with all of that being considered, extend them some grace. Sometimes you just forget about anger. We have frustration, we have exhaustion, and it comes off as anger. We do that at Aldrich. We teach the kids how to verbalize their feelings because everything is not anger. But yet, if you don't know them, it could come off that way. So even just providing spaces to help them verbalize those feelings, to be safe and to be comfortable, just venting about that can be of support as well. Holding support groups for women. Me as a woman, Raven, we have other females on our team that will hold support groups with women and just let them vent, let them talk, provide resources such as our helpline when we are not of service. Also, meeting them where they are. We have to consider a lot of black women are single parents. So meet them where they are. Go to the schools. We hold vendor events at schools, hospitals, when they're taking their kids to the doctor's office, community service outings here. We always, always, always plug our helpline. No matter what kind of festival we have here, we always plug our helpline. They're here with their kids, letting them enjoy getting free food, clothes, and all of that, and also giving them that support, telling them that we're here for them when they have time to decompress as well.
All right. Come on, Kayla. Okay. Kayla about to start a women's ministry. But that was awesome because, again, we do stigmatize our black women when so much have been put on you. And so, again, just you even saying that made me have a new appreciation for the black women in my life and in this room. Come on, if you know a strong black woman, give it up for them. Come on. Oh, you ought to do better than that. I said, if you know another strong black woman, you ought to salute. So here we are now with Mr. Joey. Is there anything that we can or should intentionally do on a day-to-day basis at home, at church, and with family that will lessen the effects of trauma and stress on our children and strengthen their capacity to cope?
So kind of like how Raven was already saying, it's very easy to pick up the unhealthy ways to cope, whether it's the bottle or any other way, you're just pushing the feelings down. So the biggest thing that we could do for our children as a community, whether that's through the schools, the church, family members, is you just got to educate them. I know it's simple, but first things first is you got to let children know that it's okay to be vulnerable. I know within our society, especially for young boys, young men, we're told, keep your feelings down, don't talk about what you're doing, you're supposed to be tough, you're supposed to be the one that looking out for everyone else. But we got to drop that. That's not where we are now. That's not where we are today. It's okay to not be okay, as Albert said. It's okay to look out for help. And then the second thing, obviously, if the children is vulnerable, able to open up with someone they care about, you also have to educate them on the services that they have at school, such as the school counselor, or like everyone up here has said, within the ambassador help or the helpline we have, or other services that we provide for the community. So the two things, you have to be able to be vulnerable and know where you could get your help, because our whole team is here to help you guys and anyone you guys know. And there's services all around the city and all around you guys that you guys could take advantage of them.
Come on, give it up for Mr. Joey. He just graduated 2 days ago. And, and now he's on our team, and he's working. Again, these are the people that I'm so happy to lead, and if you can hear it in their voices, they're very passionate about the work that we do. And again, we are not licensed therapists or clinicians. We are average people talking to average people. We don't want you to be intimidated by the alphabet soup behind our names and titles, but we want you to feel comfortable talking to us. And so this team, I consider them to be the bait of our department. They go out into the community. They are passing out flyers, making people aware of the services that we provide. They're in schools. When tragedy happens, while others are running for safety, they're running to it to provide service. Just even on yesterday, there was a shooting on 44th and Cottage Grove. But because we heard of the trauma and how it was impacting our children and people who were in the community, these people went to those young people and held sessions with them, held sessions with the parents to provide coping. Again, while others were running for shelter, they were running to provide services. And so these are the people that I lead that are so unselfish with their gifts, with their talents, their abilities, many times paying for snacks out of their own pocket for the children. They do a whole lot. And again, we go to not just children. Miss Coates, can you stand for us? Come on. She is the director at Margaret Ford Senior Citizen Independent Living. And we've gone there to hold grief circles. We've gone there through the holidays, because sometimes through the holidays, after you lost people, it's hard to kind of still celebrate. So we went there and provided services and let people know you still got a reason to celebrate. It's all right to move on in life. When Simeon had fights at their schools, it was this team that went to Simeon to mediate between the people who were fighting. It was this team that went to Hirsch when they found out that they were having all kind of issues at Hirsch. It was this team that went to Beasley when they found out they were cutting at Beasley. It was this team that went to Aldrich when they found out the kids there had nobody who knew how to care for them. It was this team that sacrificed their times on Saturdays to go to parent universities, to go to the Bud Billiken parade. While people are trying to get their barbecue, they're passing out flyers saying there's a place called Bright Star that can help you. There's a team, there's somebody who cares. There's somebody that can help you go through. You're not in this alone. You're not in this by yourself, but there's somebody that can, there's a better way of doing it. It is this team that wasn't just worried about the perpetrators of crime, but their families. They go to the Cook County Jail while people are going there to visit their families. It's this team that goes there and ministers to those teams. I don't want to say minister, but I want to say talk to. How about that? But it is this team that says we care about you, and there's a place where you can turn. Tell somebody it's a place you can turn. And so I want to celebrate this team and want you to know that there is a resource for you. 833 turn 123. Come on, say it again. 833 turn 123. Thank you for having us, Miss Joni. We're here for you anytime, Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Bright Star Behavioral Health Department.
My God, come on, put your hands together. I want y'all to raise the roof over this place. This our work right here. Yeah, one more time for our BHD department. That's right. That's how you do that. That's how you do. We appreciate all that you do for our community and the world. So glad to know each of you. Thank you. Come on, one more time. Give it up. Yeah. Albert, maybe leave my notes down there on the thing.
Made me leave my notes on the table, Albert. You did an amazing job, sir. Come on. Woo! Y'all ready to play another game? Who's ready? Who wants to make some more money up in here? All right. I got 2 more riddles for y'all. Let's try this again. Let's try this again, and we're going to do our power bingo, and I'm going to let you go. If you're online, you need to be here. This place is on fire today. On fire. What can you catch but never throw? Write it down. What can you catch but never throw? Come on now. Write it down. I'm not entertaining any answers. Write it down. Oh no. Oh no. Thank you. Number 2. What has teeth but cannot chew? Hey. What has teeth but cannot chew? Teeth. What has teeth but cannot chew? That's number 2. You always try to catch me up, but I can always just get right on, wiggle right on out. Woo! Number 1. What can you catch but never throw? Write it down. I'm not entertaining nothing yet. Like, we ain't start yet. We're just going over it. Somebody asked me the question. Sit down. Relax. We just had a BHD session, learning and teaching how to relax. Ready yourselves? Number 1. What can you catch but never throw up? A cold. What can you catch but never throw? $25. Come see Charlene. Charlene, thank you for your help today. Come on over, sis. Oh, however y'all got it. Let's clap for her. Number 2. What? Sit down, Deke. Sit down. Sit down. Let's breathe. I don't think we can play this game no more. Y'all make me nervous. What has teeth? Sit down. What has teeth but cannot chew? A comb. He got it. Clap here. Come on, Deacon King. Come get your gift card. Oh, my gosh. We ain't playing this game no more. That's it. Y'all made me too nervous. Clap your hands. We can ready to do power bingo. Come on, Destiny. This is our last thing we're doing today. Who wants to get the $50 gift card? Who wants it? Who wants the gift card? All right. Does everybody have a bingo card? Everybody has one. Come on, let's clap our hands for Destiny. Yee! We're doing bingo, and then we're doing our, wait a minute. Wait a minute. No. We're doing our raffle. We're doing our $50 raffle. Yeah. Because we have one gift card left. Well, how many gift cards? Hold on. Sidebar real quick. All right, so we got a $50 gift card left. We gave away some money today. We're going to say bye to our online audience. Y'all wave at them.
Bye, y'all.
You should be here. Tell them. You should be here. Y'all missing out. Did you enjoy our presenters today?
Yeah.
So did I. Thank you, BHD,
Thank you.
for being here. Don't forget to...